How y'all doing, everybody? This is RayRebelEars.com with another episode of the Rebel Ears podcast where we talk about music production, audio engineering, productivity, all the above. But today's episode is something that a lot of people are still trying to grasp: AI, artificial intelligence. I'm going to be honest, I'm a fan. Hand to God, I'm a fan. There's apps that I use that helps me to be productive, and I know there's some engineers and producers who use it as well. And then I'm going to give y'all some tips on how to use it, especially a secret app that I'm going to discuss later on down the line. But let's go ahead and get into the segment when it comes to AI. Now, if you are new to ChatGPT, that's something that I use constantly. ChatGPT is basically a website, but it's also an app now that you can type in anything in there and it'll help you out. Now, since this is the Rebel Ears podcast, we're going to use it more on the lines of artists, producers, engineer, all the above. Now, I know there's times where artists might be lost on what they need to get out or things they might want to say but don't really know how to express it. What I would recommend using ChatGPT: hey, I'm stuck at this moment right now. Give me some ideas how to break writer's block. And ChatGPT might come up with, take a break, walk outside for a bit, listen to another song, or read a book. Things like that can help you to be productive, creative. A producer might need, I'm trying to think of how a producer can really use ChatGPT. I'll think of something, but I know as an engineer, I want to give y'all this nugget, but I don't know. Me and YL was talking about doing something when it comes to our packs. And that's something I'm not going to let y'all know yet, but it's something that deals with, engineers trying to be creative, coming up with more ideas and things long term. Now, what I can say, I would use ChatGPT on mapping out a schedule. Let's say if you book in a 4-hour session, you can ask ChatGPT, hey, I got a 4-hour session with this engineer and I got a producer coming in and we're going to, cook something up. Give me some suggestions on how to be productive. It might give you a map saying, okay, as soon as you get in, you might use 20 minutes to listen to the producer's beat. And then maybe 30 minutes, you record something to one of those beats, something that can keep the ball rolling, especially if you, time is money, especially if you're an artist and you put money behind it, you want to get the best out of it. You don't just want to go to a studio and not really know what to do. Think of ChatGPT as a rough draft of what's needed or a game plan, blueprint, all the above. ChatGPT, you should download it. Go to chat.com. This is funny. The company, OpenAI, just bought the domain chat.com for $15 million. You can look it up. It's crazy, but it shows you how they are invested in the company. So just go to chat.com, sign up, use it, stay productive. Now, this is something that I do when it comes to the podcast. And I used to do it when I was working with a few artists in the past when they wanted to get quick masters or they don't really have the funds to do it. Now, this is a nugget for engineers, artists, and producers. BandLab. I know a lot of people heard about BandLab, and I'm a fan of BandLab. There's people who use it to produce. There's people who record on BandLab. There's a video of an artist using it to make a hit single. I think it was on a hit single on TikTok, but he literally used BandLab with some Apple headphones, and he recorded a hit. Made money off of BandLab. It's crazy. But the way that I use BandLab, I use it to master. It's for free too. So the way that you would do this, you would, let's say after this episode of the podcast, I do my mixing. I got the audio good. I got the visuals perfect to me. And then I upload it to BandLab. You can pick 4 different segments. Well, not segments, but 4 different options. You got fire, tape, clarity, and universal. Normally, I choose clarity because that's the one that I like. But you could put a video. I think the limit is 30 minutes or 25 minutes. But the thing is, you could put a long form video on there and have it mastered just like that. And that's a gem for a producer who doesn't really have the understanding of mastering and they just want a quick master. Let's say they're working with an artist and they just produce this beat. They do like a simple mix on it and they just want a quick master on it. Get that WAV file or that MP3 file, upload it in BandLab, and you got a master track. That's something that, like I said, I use all the time. And little things like that, a lot of people don't know until it's out into the open. It's been beneficial for me for the fact that it helps me to be productive and not being held back by things that I, at the moment, don't understand. Because for you to be good at your craft, you got to do research, you got to study, you got to educate yourself on what you're trying to do. With me, BandLab was a game changer for me, hands down. In the beginning of this episode, I was talking about this app that I use when it comes to being productive. And this is for artists. Honestly, I'm talking to the artists. Now, if you are an artist that is in the studio and you freestyle a lot, you don't have no pen and pad, you have your phone, you might use Google Doc or Notes, whatever that you're using. Otter.ai will actually turn your audio into text straight off your phone. Now, the way that I use it is 300. Well, let me break it down. You get 300 minutes a month, and it's for free. Every month, you get 300 minutes. And I use it all the time. You can join my Discord if you want the link. It should be in my bio or it might be in the YouTube description. But the purpose is for those who are trying to be creative in the studio and maybe at home. You probably got a session in a day or two and you just want to record a demo or you want to try something new. So what I would do, I would open up Otter.ai, push the record button. It'll turn your audio into text like I said. I think the limit is like 30 minutes as long as you're recording. And you could record a lot in 30 minutes. So let's say your artist is playing the beat on their phone. Otter.ai can be recorded on your phone while the beat is playing. I recorded Otter.ai while the Bluetooth was playing on the speakers in my car. And it recorded everything I was saying. I found a beat on YouTube. I was just playing it for a second and I was just like, and all the words that I was saying, it recorded everything. So let's say if an artist is working on a new beat and they just trying to come up with some ideas and they don't have nothing to record, use Otter.ai and you can literally go back. You can listen to what you recorded too. But the purpose of me using it is for the transcript part. The way that I use it when it comes to my productivity, I like to spend 5 minutes a day, maybe every other day, and just come up with things that needs to be done that day. It might be as simple as, okay, make sure I go through Opus Clip to get some short forms to schedule it on Hookle. Hookle is a scheduling app that I use, and there's AI in it too, but we'll talk about that later. Another thing I might tell it to, okay, make sure that I go to the gym later today. Make sure that I wear my 60-pound vest, walk for 20 minutes. Make sure I take my vitamins. Make sure I make some calls, cold calls. Make sure I work on my call to actions. But it helps me to be productive because I set it up that when I open up Otter AI, what I record, I can put it into ChatGPT later, and ChatGPT will create it depends on if you want to create a prompt or a schedule, to-do list, whatever is needed. But I use Otter.ai with ChatGPT. That's the way that I use it. Opus Clip. These are for content creators. You can be musicians, artists, engineers, producer, whatever. But the way that I use it, because you want to be consistent on social media, but there's only so many hours in a day, and then you might get lost on what you want to record or what you want to do. Like with me, what I'm doing right now, I'm doing bulk content. The purpose of the bulk content is I record 3 different segments. and I had 3 different attires. So right now I got the Crown Me hat. Shout out to Fresh. Matter of fact, let me get a close up. Shout out to King Fresh. Shout out to Takeoff ATL. Crown Me, you feel me? And the reason that I changed my outfit, I'm gonna change the hat too, because when I do bulk content, I can do 3 different episodes in one day, and it helps me to not feel burnt out when, okay, 2 weeks went by, but I already scheduled for 3 weeks in advance. So that third week, I should be like, okay, I'm down to my last week. Let me go ahead and do another 2 to 3 weeks of content in one day. And the purpose of Opus Clip is for me to upload my long form episodes of the podcast, put it on there. It creates short clips. And shout out to King Fresh, because I'm working with him on this course that I'm creating right now. And Fresh is my first client who trusts me with his platform, Takeoff ATL. Shout out to Takeoff ATL. Now, the purpose of the course is to help content creators to get more content out without feeling stagnant, burnt out, but consistent and disciplined. You want to be those 2 mainly. And Opus Clip has opened the doors for so many opportunities. No lie. Fun fact. I went on live today for, I think, 20 minutes just doing the setup of the podcast area. And this is Nikki's. She went on the live too, because in September, I went live 3 times. I put out 30 short form videos, and YL and I put out 7 long form videos. And with that, there was a contest in a virtual block party that Deeper Than the Brand is over. And I won a DJI Osmo Pocket 3, which is a $500 camera, and 3 books for being consistent. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to the consistency part of it. And, you know, like I said, when it comes to the productivity, it made the job smooth. It made it easy for me to stay consistent with what I wanted to do. Hookle is an app that I use when it comes to scheduling. And when it comes to being a musician or passionate about your craft, it's hard to balance creativity with the business. And you know, with social media, you got to be out there for people to know who you are. And the way that I use it, normally Saturday or Sunday, I schedule 2 weeks in advance. And I'm going to create a course, 2 weeks of content in 2 hours. I might call it 2 weeks in 2 hours. It's going to be fun because I know it's going to benefit a lot of like-minded individuals, a lot of creatives. And I really want to help those who don't really understand, because even with me, everything that I'm doing, I learned off the bat. Before Opus Clip, YL and I was using KLab. Now, it might be better now, but around the time when we first used it, we just had a lot of issues with it, and we wanted to try something new. There's apps, there's websites better than Opus Clip, because Opus Clip is a website. I would recommend you using it on your desktop, because on your mobile phone, when you're trying to edit the short forms, you can't. You can only do it on your computer when it comes to, you know, changing the font, the format. Like, even right now with the videos that you're watching right in front of me, this might be 9:16 frame. That's normally for Instagram stories, Reels, and TikTok. Now, with the way that I use Opus Clip, I put my videos on there. I create at least 4 to 5 videos from that one form. And I learned this from the Russell. He do, like with this episode of the podcast, I might make this for the Wednesdays for November going into December. Every Wednesday, it might just be this episode right here, because that helps me with my consistency. In the course, I'm going to break down everything so it's simplified, because I know I'm talking a lot about bulk content, short form, long form, and then mastering. And that's just a few ways that AI has helped me to be more efficient and productive. Because I remember in the beginning of last year, YL and I, we started putting more videos on YouTube, started using Instagram more, and it was time consuming, literally putting the caption in, looking at the caption, editing the caption, changing the colors, get a long form, and cutting out the specific parts in that video when you can have it automatic for you. And that's why I will use AI to benefit the creatives, because being a creative, like I said, you want to separate creativity and business. And the way that it can help you is to understand the purpose of AI to alleviate some of that pressure. And the way that I use it, like I said, I use it with ChatGPT, coming up with some ideas that could assist me. Otter.ai when it comes to an artist want to record something before they go to the session, like a little demo or a few lines they might just need to remember. BandLab when it comes to mastering. Opus Clip when it comes to short form videos. And even Hookle when it comes to scheduling my posts. And I use these weekly. These are all the apps I use weekly. Another app that I use is not really AI, but it's called InShot. InShot, I had to buy the pro version. I love that app. It helps me to be efficient when I'm trying to edit the videos and I might be out and about. I might not have my Mac with me. I might just go ahead and do it on my phone. And there's a lot of episodes of the podcast. There's a lot of audio of the podcast I did just with InShot. Matter of fact, that's a nugget I'm going to keep. All I'm going to say is I use InShots for the titles. That's going to be in the course itself. That's going to be out soon, like I said. But this was a quick episode about the AI era. I'm going to call it the AI era. ChatGPT changed the game, but you don't want to be left behind. You should try one of these apps or websites that I told you about. But from everybody at Rebel Ears, want to tell everybody thank you for listening and watching. Keep tuning in.